Hi class, today we are going to be discussing the elastic clause. Remember that you can pause the video and copy in your notes anything that is blue. Blue is for you. The elastic clause is a statement in the U.S. Constitution granting Congress the power to pass all laws necessary and proper for carrying out its numerous powers. We're going to think of the elastic clause like a rubber band. Some of you might want to take the 5 pencils in your backpack and take a rubber band and wrap them around the pencils to keep them together. However, others might have 15 pencils and might want to take the same rubber band and wrap it around those pencils to keep them together. Both students can use the same rubber band, however, it's stretched to the purpose of fitting its needs. The government also uses this idea, and it allows the government to stretch its powers in order to carry out its functions. There are 2 ways in which one could view the Constitution. These are called loose construction and strict constructions of the Constitution. Loose construction or interpretation of the Constitution means the federal government can take reasonable actions that the Constitution does not specifically forbid. In other words, the government can perform actions that aren't specifically written in the Constitution. Strict construction or interpretation of the Constitution means the federal government should do only what the Constitution specifically says it can do. In other words, the government cannot do anything unless the Constitution specifically states that it can. Let's look at an example. Congress passes a tax on cigarettes. We want to decide, is this a strict or loose interpretation of the Constitution? Well, in the Constitution, it says that in Article 1, Section 8, that Congress has the power to lay and collect taxes, to pay the debts, and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. So, what do you think? Is this an example of strict or loose interpretation of the Constitution? Pause the video now, think about your answer, and press play to see the correct answer. This is an example of strict interpretation. The Constitution specifically states that Congress can collect taxes for the general welfare of the United States. In this example, Congress is passing a tax on cigarettes for the general welfare of the United States. They want to try to prevent or persuade people to not buy cigarettes. Here's a second example. Thomas Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Purchase from France as part of a treaty he made with Napoleon. According to the Constitution, the president has the power to make treaties, but the Constitution does not state that the president can buy land from foreign countries. Pause the video now and decide if this is an example of strict or loose interpretation of the Constitution. Then press play to see the correct answer. This is an example of loose interpretation of the Constitution. The Constitution does not specifically state that the president can buy land. However, it does state that he can make a treaty. So since Thomas Jefferson put the buying of land into his treaty, he stretched his powers. Therefore, he had a loose interpretation of the Constitution. That's all for this lesson today. See you guys tomorrow.